back again with the beautiful Shima. How have you been, Shima?
Thank you so much.
You always look peppy and focused and tuned in, don't you? I'm jealous of how, I do so many hours in front of the screen. Some days I think, oh, here we go again. Another, I've got to get through this day again. Drinking coffee. I'm drinking water at the moment, no coffee. But you're looking good and you're smiling, so I know that we're going to be in for a great show. Do you agree?
Thank you so much. It's so nice to be back again, David. Thank you for having me. And hey, everyone, lovely to have you here.
We were just chatting before we hit the record button about the response from the videos that we've been making together, Shima, and myself. And so, for the sake of the audience, we'd like to say a big thank you for so many feedback and questions that Shima's been getting. I'm happy they've been sending them to you and not to me because it saves me all that work, Shima. But I know a lot of people are saying, hey, when are you going to do another one? So, we came up with another topic today, which I think this topic is something that is very dear and very deep on with both of our sides because we both had um, traumatic experiences with this. And I'm not going to say it wasn't because what we're going to talk about today is the series the serious spike in the amount of people that are suffering from cancer. Now, in the last 5 years, it's had a certain huge spike, and they're actually calling it turbo cancers because, again, for the sake of the audience, if you're not aware of this, which most people are now, there's so many people these days that are all of a sudden being given the terrible news, the worst news possible, when they had no previous cases of cancer before. Now they do. Now, I lost both my parents to cancer, so I've got a particularly um, beef with it, and I've been picking a fight with cancer for the last 3 or 4 years in my own particular way. I've been looking for trouble and looking to tackle it. But I'm interested in your side of things because my background is more kind of scientific, Shima, as you know, with what I do for a living. Well, one of the things I do. But you're on the spiritual side of things. So we've talked off camera extensively about how the energetics go with this particular affliction, this disease, what you can do to help yourself, changing your mindset. And also, I believe now you've created some form of modality, some course, some information that people can actually use it and help themselves. So the intention today, just to make it clear out there, we're going to get into a bit of a deep dive on the spiritual side of things and how my clinical sort of scientific side of things also ties in with a lot of the spiritual work, which is what we've done before, and it seems to work very well. So, Shima, I think you can open up the microphone and talk about your personal experience, your journey that you've touched on this particular subject and where it took you and where you're going to go to and where you are now, maybe.
Thank you so much, David, for this introduction. Yes, today we are going to talk about the multidimensional root cause of disease in general. And as you mentioned, today we have a lot of new people getting diagnosed with cancer and so-called incurable disease, and have a different look at it and see how can we bring solution to this human suffering. So my personal journey to this started many years ago when my beloved business partner, who was like a father to me, was sent home to die. They gave him only 3 months. They couldn't do any more therapy on him, any more chemo. He lost the kidney in the chemotherapy, so there was no other option. I couldn't accept this devastating news on my chest and started to dive deep into the truth behind cancer. I read lots of books from people who healed their stage 4 cancer, including Louise Hay, the book You Can Heal Your Life. If you haven't read it, I definitely recommend you to read this book. And she shared her personal story, how she healed her stage 4 cancer only with alternative medicine, not with conventional one. So after reading tons of books and watching a lot of interviews, I developed a modality, came up with a protocol, and I shared it with Salvador. And in my surprise, after 3 months, he was more energetic than before. And after a year, he was completely cancer-free. That brought the question to me, how could this conventional medicine work? That I am someone who didn't have any information previously about the human body and how the body functions, and come up with just the research on other people's life and bringing a protocol together, being able to help him, not only help him to survive, but also thrive. What we are doing today with our bodies, what is happening really in our world. So I started to share this with as many as possible, but my entrepreneurial lifestyle didn't allow me enough time and space to dedicate myself fully to this path until my next wake-up call, when my beloved mother, my soulmate, my best friend, was in a coma. They discovered a tumor in her brain. My family didn't want to worry me. They put her under biopsy and she directly went into a coma. I flew to Tehran and I shared the result of working with so many different patients with cancer and so-called incurable disease with my family. And I begged them to not put her under aggressive treatments. They showed great resistance. I don't blame them. They weren't familiar with my side of the story. They weren't familiar with other type of healing modalities. The only reality they believed in was the conventional medicine. So I had to witness my mother to go through 6 brain surgeries, 2 months of radiotherapy, and 18 months after, unfortunately, her body couldn't take it anymore, and she was in between us. So that ignited the fire in me to bring this message with as many as possible. I flew back to Spain, changed completely my industry, opened Infinite Love Coaching Academy and Holistic Health Center in Marbella, and started to bring this work to more people. And as I myself went through the loss of my beloved mother, my body was paralyzed. I was hospitalized for 5 days. No doctor could find out any reason how they can help me, what is happening to me, because we do not understand the connection between trauma and emotional shock to the physical disease and physical imbalances. So I embarked on a self-healing journey, understanding the true root cause behind everything, not only cancer, everything that is happening. And as healing myself, I have been able to heal so many people. I have been working with thousands of patients all over the world, expanding this modality, creating this multidimensional healing modality that is called Shimana Quantum Code. I wrote books about it, and I'm training therapists. And every day we are having amazing, outstanding results with people who have been sent home to die. And not only them, we are helping every type of people and every type of disease. And what we are going to focus on today is just simple practical tools that everyone can do at their own home when they got the sad news or devastating news of stage 3 or stage 4 cancer or so many other kind of incurable disease or chronic pain. And doctors said, we can't do anything more for you. What can you do that you can improve your health? And that's exactly what we're going to focus on this video today.
Interesting how I was curious. One thing you said there, how is the medical treatment? Would you say, I've always heard good things about the medical technology in Iran, as most people think it's pretty much back in the Stone Age. I've heard really good things about the hospitals and the treatments there. I know a lot of people go or try to go there for specific treatments. Would you say that the medical care that your mother received was first class?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we have very advanced medical system in Iran. The doctors are extremely well. The surgeons are very, very, very good. I mean, I definitely recommend when people will go for surgeries or complicated surgeries, but understanding that disease and are not only disappearing from our body when we're focusing on the symptom, understanding that conventional medicine, it's based on 200 years of science.
Yeah.
Look at other type of treatments we have, like Chinese medicine, 5,000, Ayurveda, 5,000, ancient Persian healing modality, over 7,000. How many years we are on this planet? How many years we are on this now? The new way of us, the new civilization of us, the last 5,000 or 7,000 years. We have developed so much in our knowledge of who we are, how our body functions, that all of this has been ignored in the conventional medicine. Why? One, conventional medicine is based on mechanical physics. Mechanical physics studies everything in isolation, in separation. That's why we have like specialists for eyes, like ophthalmologists, specialists for digestive system, specialists for dentistry, especially for heart, cardiologists, we have specialists for everything, as if these organs are separated from each other.
Yeah, funny. You're right, isn't it? Cardiologists, you've got gynecologists, everything with collegists in there.
Exactly. Everything is interconnected. That's the first reason. And what we are talking about, the healing modality that we are working with is based on quantum science. Quantum science studies everything based on interconnectivity. Nothing is separated. There is interconnectedness between everything. Everything is interconnected and is affecting on everything else. Second, conventional medicine is based on symptom therapy. Everything is studied like, how can I get rid of this symptom? You get headache, you go to the doctor, you get a paracetamol. The paracetamol will block the nerves that is sending the signals in your to your brain that there is inflammation, and boom, that's where your headache stops. But does it really treat? Where is it coming from? No. After 8 years, you need another tablet. When you have a fever, you use paracetamol because it stopped that receptors that is telling you that there is infection in your body. Does the infection disappear? No. Just the symptom disappears. When you get a tumor, the symptom, again, the body is trying to talk to you. There is messages from the body. These are like messengers. The symptoms are like messengers. They want to communicate with you. If you don't listen to them, you cut them, you radiate them, you put chemotherapy on them, they will appear in other parts of the body. That's absolutely normal because the body didn't get to communicate with you the message. So if you look at the Louise Hay book, The Emotional Root Cause of the Disease, you will see every organ has its own communication with you. If you have problems with your eyes and nobody can treat it, look in your life and ask yourself, which area in my life I don't want to see? Is left eye, it talks about your past. Right eye is talking about your future. Left side is the feminine side. Right eye is the masculine side, right side. Is everything in your body. Like some people, they say, okay, damage and I have inflammation on my left knee. Left knee is about the past. Right knee is about the future. I can't step into the future. There is something that I need to step into the future and I'm stopping here, or indecisiveness. So there is a lot of communication. This is a way for your body to communicate with you. And when it comes to cancer, when it comes to tumor, there is one emotion that is in common with every person in the world that experience cancer. Do you want to know what is it?
Well, I would say worry and stress and being a negative person. I've noticed there's an extreme correlation with people who are in a sad place, estranged from the family, the husband's left, the children died. Something up there keeps their spirit and the soul very much in a negative, sad energy, like a blocked energy.
Very true. But when we come deeper to that exact emotion, suppressed anger
Yeah,
and resentment.
absolutely agreed. My mother.
Suppressed anger and resentment.
Yeah.
So, my dear friend, if you have been receiving the diagnosis of cancer, whatever stage it is, ask yourself who you are not able to forgive. Ask yourself who you are not able to forgive. Know that your very first step to healing is forgiveness. And you do not forgive because they deserve forgiveness. You forgive because you deserve peace and healing. So holding resentment is like drinking poison and expecting somebody else to get sick. Let's repeat that again. Holding resentment, it's like drinking poison and expecting someone else to get sick.
Yeah. That's a really good analogy, actually. And that's true. Every single cancer person I've done that, resentment, anger, frustration, all built into one little package that they keep inside. My mother is exactly that, exactly those emotions. Now that you refined it that way, it's very true.
And so suppressed anger, not being able to express your anger, you hold it in. Every emotion has three stages. Experience it, experiment it, or process it and let it go. When this emotional process is interrupted, the emotion gets trapped. A trapped emotion is size of a clenched fist that can get trapped in your meridians, the energy system of your body, and that creates inflammation. So at the beginning, the inflammation is the message of your body. There is a trapped emotion here. Pay attention to that. And if you don't pay attention, that becomes chronic pain. So it's very important to go to the root cause. In my experience, over 90% of disease are related directly with trapped emotion. I developed a chart of 8 different multidimensional root cause of the disease. One of them is emotion, but only the trapped emotion, when you learn how to process, how to release it, just that simple thing will clear a lot of problems from your body. In my workshops, what I do, I call practitioners, or I call the people who are coming there to come on the stage randomly. I ask, who has a pain now, wherever in your body, like a chronic pain in the neck, shoulder, back, everybody, there are many people suffering from that. So who has a pain now that we can measure it from 0 to 10 is a level 8 or 9, is very high. And a few people raise their hands, and I ask them and call up on this stage. I do muscle testing, very simple way to do muscle testing. I can show you now how you can do it at your own home. Muscle testing is a very simple way to access the subconscious information that is stored in your body. And I ask which emotion is stored according to the emotional tablet root cause of the disease that I have developed. I had channeled from another lifetime of myself as a healer. And I wrote it and I published it in the book Shimana Quantum Code, that you can check. That is very easy, or you can just use a pendulum and check with emotion is that. So I asked the people who are there, what kind of trapped emotion is there? And I realized, recognize or define the trapped emotion, release it from the body, command the body to reset that particular organ. And the person who comes there, and I have thousands of these videos, who come on this stage, in that moment from a back pain or chronic stomach pain or chronic neck pain, 8 or 9, that they have been carrying for 15, 20, 30 years, the pain completely calmed down in 5 to 10 minutes to number 2. Or sometimes completely disappear. So what I would suggest you to do, learn how to work with this trapped emotion. First of all, understanding that this emotion that you're experiencing is a messenger that is telling you this is the emotion that is coming to your body. You need to experience it, whether it's anger or it's sadness or it's joy or it's happiness, whatever it is, you need to welcome it. Allow that emotion to be experienced fully. You can bring it to your heart and allow your heart to act as a transmitter to convert this emotion to that equivalent heartfelt emotion. I explain this completely in Infinite Love book, my first book, called The Heart-Centeredness Practice. So imagine you receive a news and you are very sad. And instead of suppressing your sadness and putting a mask that you are okay with it, allow that sadness to come to you and take a deep breath and send that sadness to your heart. Stay quiet for a couple of seconds and pay attention what is happening into your heart. Soon you will realize that emotion has transformed immediately. But that needs to be experienced. That needs to be processed in your body. What happened because of our educational background, our cultural upbringing, we have been told, for instance, men never cry. Or if you're strong, you shouldn't cry, or you shouldn't show your emotions. And those upbringings, those educational systems, that is the root cause of many of our problems today. You need to remember one thing you need to do to process your emotions. Don't hide it under the carpet. Process it, leave it. Another thing, you can just look at the root cause of the tablet that I shared in Shimana Quantum Code book, the emotional tablet. I put everything in a simple way that you can understand whether this emotion is from this lifetime or this is a prenatal trapped emotions. We store a lot of emotions during prenatal experience because the baby's emotional body with mother emotional body is the same until the child is 7 years old, actually. In Chinese medicine, when a child below 7 is sick, they treat the mother, not the child, because they have the same energetic body.
Very interesting.
So when you are inside mom's belly, you absorb a lot of prenatal trapped emotion. So we can check muscle test, whether this is a prenatal trapped emotion or this is a preconception trapped emotion, which this come to the spiritual understanding that we are conscious being. We never disappear. The consciousness of us never disappear. Even the physical body may dissolve and disappear after this life when we are dying, but the consciousness never disappears and carries the information. So the emotions you experience in other lives, some of them that hasn't been processed, may come to this life. So that's a preconception trapped emotion. Then we have inherited trapped emotion. The inherited trapped emotion are many of the root causes of something that today they call it genetic disease.
Yeah.
Genetic today doesn't mean anything. You are not born with any genetic stamp that you need to carry the rest of your life. Epigenetic is explaining that. Come to the emotional trapped emotion that was in the DNA. I've been treating a lot of patients with diabetic, and they say, okay, my mother had it, my grandparent had it, everybody died in our family with this. But when you go to the root cause and release it from the generations before, that is a frequency. That frequency, when it's released, then you can get rid of it in your own body. And in this modality, I explained very easy how to release it. So we have inherited trapped emotion, and then we have collective imprints, what we are absorbing from others, like collective fear, collective suppression, collective taboos we are absorbing and embodying it. So I have divided these 5 columns, and I have divided 9 different body organs and systems inside the chart. You can see which trapped emotion is stored in which body. The way we are releasing it is very simple in Shimana quantum code modality. Understanding the holographic reality that you are more energy than anything else. When you place one electron, that is the smallest particle of everything that exists, inside every cell there is atom, inside every atom there is electron. Open the electron. What do you see at the lab? They say that 99.999% of it is empty. 0.0001% is the matter what we can experience at the labs. Another reason why conventional medicine fails is because the whole information of the scientific studies that we have is based on 0.0001% of the reality. Let's repeat that again.
Yeah, okay, I'm trying to get my head around those numbers. I was listening.
Based on 0.001% of the reality.
Yeah.
That's massive. How about the other 99.999%?
Yeah, where's all that being used?
That's why Nikola Tesla says, if you want to understand the secrets of life, you need to think about terms, energy, and vibration. And if we spend the rest of our life just studying the other 99.999%, we are going to advance so much faster than we advanced in the last 5,000 years.
Yeah.
In our science and in everything that we study. So it's important to look at everything. Now, we look at the body as an energetic being. There is a lot more space in your body than the matter, actually. You see yourself as this physical being and it's just the matter. But in reality, no. There is a lot more space between every cell, between every electron, than the physical matter, as we just explained, is 99.9% is that space, that energy, that photon, that information. So when you are looking at quantum science and see yourself as this holographic reality, that's the reason why you can change your reality by changing your thoughts. Because you can project that reality into that holographic being and you can change that. That's why we talk about mind over matter, and many new age scientists such as Dr. Joe Dispenza, Greg Braden, Bruce Lipton, they are all talking about it and they have been able to help millions of people around the planet. So in Shimana quantum code, we use the palm of the hand as the remote control to this holographic system. In this remote control, I have the meridian of the heart inside the palm of the hand. All the meridians of the body passes the palm of the hand. But the heart meridian is the one we are using for reprogramming the body. So what I do, I tap the palm of my hand 3 times really gently, and I command the body as if I'm tapping the remote control of that holographic being. And I'm tapping it and I say, I release this trapped emotion. Imagine that was resentment. I release this resentment from your mind, body, and soul in all dimension of time and space. Why? Because you are living multidimensional being, and simultaneously you are living multiple realities. That explained, I explain it deeper in chapter 3 of Infinite Love book that is based on quantum science explaining who we truly are. So you tap it and you release it. And even if you don't believe that you are living multidimensional realities at the same time, you just say, I release that trapped emotion. Okay? And then go and reset that related body you see in the chart. That related body organ, for instance, the resentment was stored in your kidney, reset it to its original perfect health design. Then check what is the other reason why you have that chronic pain or chronic disease or whatever it is. And you will feel just you at your own home doing this simple practice of tapping the palm of your hand, discovering the trapped emotion with muscle testing or pendulum, you can get rid of pain and so many things that you have been carrying for your entire life. It's a very practical method. Everybody can do it. I had a friend who told me that his daughter, 21 years old, she always have trouble to go to sleep. And she goes to bed, but she takes 2-3 hours until she falls asleep. And I said, because there is insecurity in her body stored. And I asked him, how did you sleep train her when she was a child? Did you use the cry out method? And he says, yes, of course, because this is the most known, well-known method in our age. And I said, that's the problem. Cry out method, that you leave a child to cry in order to fall asleep, that many parents go through it during 2 weeks or 3 weeks, leave the child to cry, is one of the most damaging methods on our psyche. It's one of the most damaging methods on our psyche and creates so much trauma and insecurity. It influences every decision we take in our life. It influences how we are facing the world in the moment of dangers. It's very important for you to understand this. Please, parents, hear me. If you're new parents and you're sleeping and you're using this modality, deepen your understanding about scientific research, psychological research that has been done and published on children who receive this type of this kind of modality for sleeping. So in this case, in my friend, he said that his daughter was sleep trained with the cry out method. I said, okay, go to the Shimano Quantum Code tablet of trapped emotion, check out with the pendulum which emotion she has there and release them. He did this 5 minutes. That night, the daughter goes to bed. She goes to bed, she falls asleep. The day after, and then a week after, the daughter is telling to the father, I want to meet this woman. I want to know, because 21 years I suffer from sleeping, and how is it that I go to bed and now I fall asleep? So these are the things you can do to help your loved ones, to help yourself, very easy, just by going to the root cause, the trapped emotion. That's one of the root causes in the chart of multidimensional root cause of the disease. That's one of them that covers 90% of the work that we are doing. And that is very, very important. So first we say is emotional, and then we have mental. What is mental energies? Mental, I divided in 3 different subcategories: limiting beliefs, mental energies, and post-hypnotic suggestions or programming. The programming are developmental programming. Like if you say to a child, you're not good enough, or you're stupid, you're not intelligent, that become a post-hypnotic suggestion. That can become a root cause of disease.
Yeah, it's also keeping them in that state of negativity and doubting themselves. Shima, take a breath. Let people absorb that. Because you've just machine gunned us with so much information, and I'm going to give you a little break because I'm going to let a couple of things be absorbed by the audience. Now, in our friendship over the years, I've experienced this healing. You actually healed a carpal. I had a thumb issue from so much editing, and you actually healed it remotely while I was driving. It was 50% better on day 1, 100% better on day 2. So for the sake of the audience, this is all, although it sounds very skeptical, it does work. But what your concept is of going into and tracing the emotional connection. Let me talk about body parts for a while. We know that the left is the feminine, the right is the masculine, the left is the past, and the right is the future. How do you identify? So let's just take a shoulder. So we'll go left shoulder. So if you've got a problem with the left shoulder, that would indicate that something happened in your past, but what would the shoulder represent in this chart that you're talking about?
Burden.
Burden. Okay,
Responsibility.
makes sense, doesn't it? Yeah.
Mm.
Okay, so let's move down a bit. What about if you had ribs? If you had pain in the ribs in the side?
If it's the ribs, if it's coming from the central part, is the lung and the chest area. That represent grief, unresolved sadness that is stored and is trapped in the lung area. That is affecting especially the manubrium bone, which is here, and coming to the ribs. It depends where in the ribs is exactly. Because if it's coming more to the side, maybe we're coming into the pancreas area,
Yeah.
we are coming to the other body part. You can also divide the body to seven part that it's connected to the chakras, and each part is affecting exactly those organs. Let's say like a third eye chakra is affecting everything that is in the mind and the headache and the eye problems. So everything that is blocking that, the emotion that is affected, that is all around in this area. If you have like Hashimoto, for instance,
Yeah.
suppressed voice is the
Yeah.
main condition of Hashimoto, thyroid gland. So the first thing you need to do if you're diagnosed with Hashimoto, go and express yourself. Write down letters to the people who you haven't been able to express to them and burn that letter safely. You don't need to express that to them, but just by bringing it as a letter, that help your body to function properly. So in every organ, we divide the organs, we divide it and connecting with the energetic part. It's a very important and fundamental to understand. We are multi-dimensional being. We have physical, mental, emotional, energetic, etheric, astral, spiritual bodies. And the root cause of the disease can be located in any of these parts. So we are not only one-dimensional.
Yeah, I follow that. I'm going to I'll come back at you now because here's the thing with a lot of historical facts, because let's just go back to Victorian times, for example. The Victorians didn't really suffer the same rates as cancer as what we have now. Now, we talked about the word turbo cancer, which has just become a new expression, a new phrase in the English language as of recently. But if we go back to statistically, Victorians and Edwardians, 1910 and 1890s, they didn't suffer the same. And why not? Why was it not recorded? Was it because science at the time wasn't as advanced? Clearly it wasn't. But, they would have known it by people dying in certain ways, pancreatic cancer, lung cancer. But first of all, they were actually a lot healthier because they ate healthier food and they actually exercised more. Victorians used to have up to 6 meals a day. And they used to walk on average around 8 miles, which is about 11 kilometers. Now, our modern day lives, we're exposed to so many toxins. Great example. I was having a coffee with a friend of mine today, and he was talking about, I've decided to buy toothpaste without fluoride in it. I said, that's great. But have you considered that the toothbrush that you're putting in your mouth, the brushes are made out of nylon and you're brushing your teeth with microplastics? He went, I hadn't thought about that. And it's the same thing, we're exposed to so many toxic. You pull into the gas station. A lot of people say, I love the smell of gasoline. Highly toxic benzene. It's a killer. People that work in gas stations, petrol stations their whole life, they get cancer because of the benzene that they're exposed to the fumes and they're inhaling it. There's many different industries that you are now more exposed to, such as radiation in the aviation business. If you're an airline pilot or flight attendant, their cancer rates are pretty high because they're exposed to 6 times the normal radiation from their at zero sea level as opposed to 35,000 feet in a controlled environment. You've got people that are working with all sorts of toxins and chemicals and car restoration and sanding and blasting, and none of these industries were around before. So we are, as a species, exposed to a lot more toxic chemicals, the things that you clean your house with, these sprays. One of the things that I was shocked about is when I lived in South America, everybody used to spray their entire body with an aerosol anti-mosquito that was called DEET. And the toxic stuff in there, it literally says, do not use excessively. This is carcinogenic. But the people who used to live in it, it's like everybody smelled of this spray-on anti-mosquito. Whereas you can find a natural alternative, say citronella, or there are alternatives. So we are exposed to a lot more toxins, which would scientifically give us a lot more sick people. But then on the side that you're doing, Shima, I know this works because I've experienced it myself. Using the tapping the palm, identifying the emotion, and think about it, guys. Who do you know that has cancer? Think about the personality. Have you got a really happy-go-lucky, skipping around person saying, I can't wait to get out of bed in the morning? Or is it someone shuffling about who's in a bad mood and constantly like, it doesn't laugh at all? Because I guarantee there's someone that's going through your memory now thinking, yeah, you kind of got a point there, And it was before they got the bad news that there were these type of personality. There was an absolute correlation with the emotional state of people that suffer from this illness, and 9 times out of 10 it's there.
But they could be happy people as well, they could be happy people, but they have suppressed anger, they have suppressed resentment, so they in the external world they don't express it. You see them as really loving, really caring, very happy, but then inside they experience, they suppress it. And you mentioned a good point in that multidimensional root cause of the disease that we are exploring in Shimano Quantum Code. One of the items actually is environmental. Let me read for you the entire root causes. We have emotional, mental, energetic, which is electromagnetic field, offensive energies, aura, chakras, and we have spiritual, that we will dive deeper into that later on. Nutrition and lifestyle, which is very important. Genetic, which will come down to epigenetic. We will define it later, that whatever emotions that was trapped in the previous generation that is affecting the body and the environment. Next is environmental influences, pathogens, especially parasite, is active in over 80% of patients I've been treating. They came parasite positive. And when you are diagnosed with cancer, no doctor is doing a parasite check. So I would definitely suggest you, if you get a diagnosis of cancer, go and do this test and see if you have parasite. So that's one of the things. Toxins, as you mentioned, heavy metals, contamination, geopathic locations, that's also very important. Relationships, home and family, one of the root causes. If you are in a relationship that you don't feel love, if you're in a relationship that you have a lot of resentment, you're living with someone just because of the comfort, not because of love, there is a lot of problem there need to be solved. And also in the work, like if you have a job that you hate, that is also contributing to your problem. And then we have physical also root causes. Now we have in this chart, we are looking at the 8 different dimensions of the root cause of the disease and going to each one. But the emotional part and the mental part are the biggest ones that is in common with everyone. Now, coming back, why in like early 1900s, we didn't have that many cancer, and why do we have it today? One simple answer, yes, there is a lot more contamination. We have a lot of electromagnetic field. We have 5Gs. We have like a lot of satellites around the world that is affecting our body. Yes. But remember something, your body is a healing machine. Your body is a pharmacy, can produce all the chemicals that you need, and it does. But the healing chemical does not produce at the same time with the fight or flight chemicals.
Yeah.
If you are in stress, all your body's attention is to create the fight or flight response, means creating cortisol, adrenaline, so you can run away or you can fight back that danger. That is how we are developed. In that moment, of course, you cannot get healing hormones in your body because it's a moment that the priority is fight or flight. Because today we are living a very stressful life and we are constantly on the survival. And most of those survival problems is programming that is in our head. That thought itself take your body out of healing mode. Your body can heal itself, but your body needs to feel safe to heal itself and to produce the healing hormones. Why today we have more patients? Because we are living with more stress. Studies shows that 97% of disease are directly related to stress. Yet 3% of patients are receiving stress management. And we are talking about 97% of disease. So what you need to do, you need to create more safety in your body. You need to feel more safe in your body. And here we are going to give you some guidelines how to create that safety so your body can heal itself. And it's very important to remember, if you cut a hand, if you cut your hand, there is no doctor in the world, no healer in the world, no therapist in the world can heal the wound. Your body heals itself. Everybody can do something and nobody can heal it. Your body is designed to heal itself. Every single second, our body is producing thousands of cancer cells, but it's repairing them. What happens when there is a moment that your body cannot repair because it's overloaded? The system is overloaded. You need resetting in your system. So press that reset button and remember that chronic pain, incurable disease means one thing, changing your lifestyle. And that, my dear friend, is primary for your healing. You do whatever you do, if you don't change your lifestyle and the personality who created that disease will come back. That's why we say it has multidimensional root causes. It's not only contamination, it's not only heavy metal, it's not only this, it's not only that, there is multiple reasons. It's something very interesting. I want to share this with you here is about the personality. I always say that personality creates your personal reality. Your personality creates your personal reality. If we want to change that stage of disease, that imbalance that is in your body, we do need to change your personality. Coaching goes hand in hand in Shimano Quantum Code modality because we can never leave the patient alone. When we go through all the root causes, we don't do symptom therapy, we go through root causes. We get rid of all the root causes, then we need to coach the patient to change that personality. And that is creating new habits. You can have the same habit that you did yesterday, expecting a different result.
Yeah.
All of that is in combination for you to completely become healthy. You know, this new studies about the butterfly, the conversion of caterpillar to a butterfly shows that the caterpillar doesn't grow wing inside the cocoon. Caterpillar dissolves completely, dies. And from that dissolved caterpillar, the new species is born, which is the butterfly. So if you want to change that personal reality, you need to die. You need to die before death. What does that mean? To change that personality. That's very important part. So create safety in your body, feeling more safe in your body and understanding why did you develop that from the beginning. If you have watched our previous videos, I shared a 1-minute technique for healing. You remember that?
I do, yeah.
For everything in your life. Become responsible for everything. If you have been sitting on a victim chair until now and blaming it on everything else and everyone else, it's time for you to go and sit on the responsible chair.
Yeah. You got to take
where your personality changes.
Accountability, responsibility. I mean, the easiest thing to do is, if you're a heavy smoker, you're going to get lung cancer. It's an inevitability. You have a heavy drinker, you'll get cirrhosis of the liver. It's just goes with the territory. So you've got to change your lifestyle. A lot of people I know, they go through they spent. Here's a good example. I saw a woman the other day. She was wearing a sash saying "Happy 50th birthday," and they were sitting at the next table. And I was thinking, 50. She looks 70. I was like, what has she been doing her entire life? But she had a very nervous, on edge energy. She must have been, I don't know, maybe working in a bar or something, but like a lot of late nights, bad decisions. She had a few missing teeth, so which is kind of a drug-related thing. A lot of drugs will strip the calcium from your body and they lose teeth. And she looked at least 15 years old. And I was, she's younger than me. And I was thinking, wow, the lifestyle choices that people make will attract the right stuff or the wrong stuff. So as you say, personality will affect what you're going to be doing health-wise as well. You've got to look at it and you've got to change it. It's a bit like you want to lose weight, change your diet. It's the same thing in health, isn't it? You got to change up, make severe changes if you want to start walking on the healthier side of life, both mental and physical.
I love the sentence of Anthony Robbins. He stayed with me from 20 years ago. He said that everybody wants to go to heaven, nobody wants to die.
Yeah.
If you want to go to heaven, you need to take some action. You need to take some action if you want to create some changes in your life. It's not like, okay, we want to outsource everything. The best action is like, I'm going to go and get this surgeon. We're going to remove the tumor and I'm going to get those chemical things and I'm going to do this and that and hoping that I will be healthy. And then what happened? Metastase. Then what happened? A lot of side effects. And from the moment that diagnosis comes, then life goes on a downhill.
Well, yeah. I completely agree. And what I experienced, Shima, coming from a scientific background, is that when I talk to people that have been given the bad news, a lot of people just give up immediately because they go to a hospital or a clinic and they've got a guy sitting in front of them in a nice white jacket with all the diplomas on the wall. Look at me. I've studied for 5, 10, 25 years. I got all these pieces of paper on the wall behind me. I've got diplomas. And then they say, basically, yeah, that's it. Pick yourself a coffin and a funeral plot. You got 3 months to live. And it's amazing how cold doctors and medical people can be with death, giving you the bad news. They do it all day long, so they don't really have much thought about it. And I dated a doctor, and she was like that, and I noticed it. She had a very callous coldness about when she's giving bad news to people. But the problem we face is when people go into these doctor's appointments, these meetings, they get the bad news and the doctor says, there's nothing we can do for you any further. We've tried everything. My advice is to go home, spend time with your loved ones, and you've got about between 3 and 6 months. And that bombshell goes straight into the psyche of that patient. And because it's such an emotional dagger, a lot of people suffer. They cannot remove it. They've already accepted their fate. So one of the things I struggle with is trying to make people understand that's the doctor's opinion. If you want to accept it, then off you go. But the minute that you start questioning, saying, well, what does he exactly really know? Because a lot of doctors are trained by other doctors. They follow a book pattern. And that's like saying, one idiot is going to train an idiot how to be another idiot. It's the same thing, isn't it? It's like me reading a book about how to fly. I've read a book, How to Fly 747, and I've passed a couple of tests. I've got the diplomas. Who wants to go for a spin? It's my first time. You wouldn't. You'd rather go with someone who's got the track record. But that's what I suffer with. A lot of people just accept the fate. They don't question it. He's a doctor. He's right. He's got diplomas. He's got machines. He's in a white coat. He's in an expensive building. So he must be right. And that's the biggest thing is if you're a family member, which you went through and I went through, trying to convince that person who's, what do you mean I've got 3 months? They're just in shock. And then all of a sudden everyone's saying, do this, do that, go to church, go to the mosque, go to the synagogue, whatever you want to go to, get yourself ready. So the mental battle is extremely important.
It is, and it's so overwhelming.
Yeah.
It's overwhelming. For the person with what I realize that many of these people, when they got diagnosed with cancer or different disease like Parkinson or MS or whatever that they say, like a lot of patients this day I had with bladder infection that doctors cannot do anything about it, and they call it like incurable bladder infection. That's also something new, like coming up very, very massive. So if you are someone that you got diagnosed, what do you need to do? First, remember that you're always in control. Do not lose your control. Do not give your power away. Raise your understanding and information about who you are, how your body functions. Before taking any decisions, I don't take this decision or that decision. Come back to your heart and allow your heart as the source of your intelligence to communicate with you, because all the answers are within your heart. Your inner guru is inside you. Do a simple practice. Go in front of the mirror, look into your eyes, take 3 deep breaths, and ask your eyes for advice. I beg you, you're going to get so much more information from those beautiful eyes in the mirror than from any other therapist out in the world. Your inner guidance is always active within inside you. You need to create this connection with yourself that you forgot. So the first thing, come back to your breath. Don't lose your hope. Don't get panicked. Don't take decisions based on panic. If the families are pushing you, just ask them for space.
Yeah.
For space, because like, let me digest this.
Yeah.
Come back to yourself. Remember that your body can heal itself if your body is safe. How can you create safety? Deep breath, breathing exercise. I'm going to share with you some very simple breathing exercise you can do, practice every single day, that can transform your life massively. Like you practice this 1 month, you're a complete different person in a month from now, just by adding 5 minutes of routine of breath work into your daily life. It's just a 5 minute. You cannot say I'm busy, I can't do that. You just need to sit down and take deep breath. So one of the methods is this. Look, we are all, when we are in fight or flight, when we are in stress, we are breathing very shallow. The breath comes down to here. It never goes down. And for your entire body to function in coherence, all the organs together, you need to breathe deeply down into your belly. Let's do this exercise together. Hold your thumb and your index finger and breathe. Where the breath goes. Here.
Right.
Hold your middle finger and your thumb together and breathe. Where the breath goes. Your chest.
Lower down.
Lower down. Hold the ring finger and breathe. You feel it around your hip area, and hold this pinky finger and breathe. Down, down, down to the pelvic floor, to the bottom of your spine. Yes or no?
Yeah.
So, simple. When you're in stress, when you're having stressful thoughts, when you're in traffic jam, when you hold these 2 fingers together, your pinky with your thumb, and breathe in. See how everything open, the entire channel open, and the breath goes down to the bottom, and breathe out slowly. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Do this for 5 minutes. Put your alarm, do it for 5 minutes. You sit down, one personality. You leave the chair, another personality. There is more space in your mind. There is more calmness in your body. Everything is different. Just do that 5 minutes, 10 minutes, as long as possible. The minimum 5 minutes integrated to your daily routine. Another breathing exercise that helps you a lot is taking for a count of 4, holding for a count of 5, releasing and exhaling for a count of 6. Why? Why the exhale is longer than the inhale? It's based on this understanding that you need to let go more than holding. You need to let go more than what you take in. So let's practice this together. Inhale, hold, exhale. Inhale, hold, exhale. Inhale, hold, exhale. Do you feel safer now in your body?
Feel more relaxed.
More relaxed? Exactly. That's the start of your healing. Now your body can produce healing hormones. Now your body can enter the inner healing mode.
We could talk about this all day. I know you. We need to keep this inside as much as we can to an hour, Shima, so we don't lose the focus of people. So
A
I
lot of
know,
information, and I'm
yeah,
trying to compress it in a very short time to bring all that information. But the practical tools that you have at your own pace, at your own home, to apply it without looking and outsourcing help is just coming back to your breath. Take some deep breath. Practice heart coherence meditation. We have shared this in previous videos. You can check them out on my YouTube channel. From the book, you can read that all. Practice heart coherence. And then dive deeper into your emotion. Write a letter to the person you need to forgive and burn that letter and release that ashes. Practice forgiveness. Sometimes you need to forgive yourself for not
yeah,
setting the boundaries and for accepting whatever was there. That's also a big topic.
it's true. A lot of people overlook that one. They're always looking for an outward way, but it'd be decisions and things you've done in your own life that you need to forgive yourself for.
And give yourself time. What I would do in your shoes. Go on a retreat. Go play on a place that you can practice silence. You can be on your own. You don't need to go to book anything. You just can be on your own. Disconnect from social media, disconnect from everything else, disconnect from the world, go within and try to practice heart coherence and meditation and allow the guidance come from within. From there, access the intelligence of your body. Ask your body what is the message it's trying to communicate with you. Maybe you need to change a relationship. Maybe you need to change your job. Maybe you need to change your lifestyle, whatever it is. And make commitment to take action on those. Don't take a decision based on fear because you have been given this information or this diagnosis, and now you need to immediately jump on radiotherapy or chemotherapy or surgery. Don't do that. Give yourself time and expand your awareness. Watch the videos of people who healed their similar disease. Just Google it and see what alternatives are there. Then decide. Take that time, give yourself a month of time, then decide.
There's actually a lot of videos out there now of people's recovery stories, their personal journeys, what they've discovered along the way, what products they were using, what they were eating, what they were drinking, what they were taking. So yes, giving people that particular piece of advice, Shima, is very important. Go out, do your research before you make any decisions, because often people are pressurized into it. And I'm sorry to say, depending on where you live, you know, in the United States, chemotherapy and radiotherapy is big money, and the doctors get a commission on that. So you will feel a bit of timeshare pressure. Make a decision, make a decision, make a decision. And I've heard some terrible stories about people being pushed into it. And when you mention, let me get a second opinion, they really don't like it when you say that. What do you mean? You're saying I don't know what I'm talking about? So don't be intimidated just because of the diplomas and expensive clinics and machines and a white jacket. Take your time, feel into the energetics, and make a decision based on feeling rather than the emotion of fear. Feel into the answers. And I think that's a very, very good advice. Shima, we're going to put all the links to all of your work and these amazing books that you've written and channeled. And if anybody else has any questions, you're always eager to answer them and keep people on the right track for straight and health recovery. And me too, if you have any questions for me, I'll be happy to help because I also do a different form of help for people suffering from this particular affliction. So please, if you have any questions, guys, reach out. Shima, is there anything else you'd like to add?
Thank you so much. Just one last sentence that remember that healing begins with love and love begins within.
Love begins with?
Within.
Within. Within. I couldn't understand it. It's this heavy Persian accent you've got. So within. Shima, it's been great catching up. That was an amazing.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I hope we've reached out and reached into the spot that people need to focus on, because whatever diagnostic you get, or someone in your loved field around you, family wise, there's always hope. And I think hope is a really important emotion. One of my favorites, because you never give up. If you've got hope, you're always going to keep going. And when your hope is removed and you sort of accept your fate as you've been given, I think that's when things get very, very dark for people. Don't give up. There's always hope. There's always an alternative. There's always something else you can try. But just taking one man's opinion, one person's opinion about your future, if you think about it, is pretty silly. Do more research, try lots of alternatives, and maybe you'll find something that works for you, as we've seen many, many people have that we've come across and touched in our lives, both Shima and myself. Shima, once again, thank you very much. Send me all your links. We'll put it on there below, and we'll be back very, very soon. And I'll be back in a couple of days with my normal shows. And until then, Shima, take care. Namaste.
Thank you so much, everyone, for listening to us and being with us another time. And I wish you all the best and all the health in the world. Lots of love to you.
Bye bye. Thanks, Shima. See you
Bye.
soon.